This is One Sentence News, a daily podcast featuring 3 news stories with a sentence-long summary and 1 sentence of context apiece. I'm Colin Wright. This is a sponsored message. I've been using Anchor as my podcast host for a while now, and it's been a pleasure to use. Anchor offers benefits that most other hosts do not. It's free to use, but it also has a collection of tools that allow you to create a podcast completely within the Anchor website or smartphone app. They distribute your show to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other distribution channels without any additional effort on your part, and you can make money from your podcast without any minimum audience size. So you can use it as a more traditional podcast host like I do, but it's also got everything you need to start a podcast from scratch. If you're keen to give it a shot, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's Thursday, December 15th, 2022. Let's talk about the news. From Ars Technica, TikTok would be banned from U.S. for good under bipartisan bill. A newly proposed bill, which has support from U.S. lawmakers on both sides of the aisle, would block and prohibit transactions by social media companies controlled or substantially influenced by countries like Russia, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, and China. The most immediate target of this bill, according to those who presented it for consideration, is the wildly popular short video sharing app, TikTok. TikTok is owned by a Chinese tech company and has been called an enormous threat to national security by several U.S. officials, including the chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, the director of the FBI, and the commissioner of the FCC. It has also been banned on government devices in several states in recent months. The bill, which is called the Averting the National Threat of Internet Surveillance, Oppressive Censorship and Influence, and Algorithmic Learning by the Chinese Communist Party Act, which can be acronymed as the Anti-Social CCP Act, is likely to be controversial, though, because of that aforementioned popularity, especially amongst young people. From Reuters, floods kill at least 120 in Congolese capital. In the aftermath of heavy rains that triggered landslides throughout Kinshasa, at least 120 people have been confirmed killed, and entire neighborhoods have been subsumed by muddy water and/or swallowed by sinkholes. That death figure is expected to rise as more areas are cleared and paperwork is finalized, and the economic damage of this flooding is expected to be high as well, with each day in which transportation is disrupted and people are unable to go to work costing households a combined $1.2 million, according to an earlier World Bank estimate. And from Al Jazeera, China readying $143 billion package for chip firms in face of U.S. curbs. The Chinese government is reportedly preparing to deploy more than 1 trillion yuan, which is around $143 billion, in financial support for the country's semiconductor industry, which has been hobbled by U.S. regulations and its own pursuit of computer chip self-sufficiency. China wants to be able to design and produce high-end chips without relying on anyone else, but the current paradigm in this space is globalized, with much of the most sophisticated work being done by the US and its allies. Over the past few years, the US has cut China off from many semiconductor-related resources, which is meant to slow China's pursuit of more sophisticated AI and military technologies, and this investment package is meant to help counter those chip-related sanctions, and to keep Chinese chip companies competitive with their international rivals. If you're finding some value in One Sentence News, consider leaving a quick review wherever you get your podcasts and/or sharing the show with a friend. You can find out more about this show or subscribe to the email version at onesentencenews.com. And you can support this and other related projects, like the Let's Know Things and Brain Lenses podcasts, at understandery.com.